Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back. Um, gonna do another review somebody sent me. This is from The View. It should, it's gonna be fun. I hope I don't lose my brain cells. Because I think every time somebody watch The View, you lose a brain cells or so. I don't know. Like a comedian, one comedian say, there's there are a lot of smart women, but none of them are on The View. So let's see. Maybe I might be surprised. I might be surprised. So let's go ahead
Barack Obama,
and watch.
Obama appeared on his former speechwriter John
I have to pause, for fair use.
Favreau's podcast this weekend. You know, oh, you could come here too. I
Yeah.
think you owe us a visit.
Yes.
I'm not that I'm
Obama.
pushing. I'm just
Obama, let me help spread the word. The ladies want you on The View. All right. Okay.
saying. And Obama
You gotta go.
was asked how
help.
Democrats can end the influence that you know who has over American
When she says who know who, she's talking about Trump.
politics once and for all. He suggested changing the subject. I concur. Take a look.
We spend
Now, that might be true, but they're not going to listen to him because these people are crazy. And even he doesn't even listen to his own advice. It's kind of very hard to ignore you know who from both sides because he's larger than life. Everybody want a piece of him because he's fabulous. So nobody can, nobody, everybody want a piece of him. All right,
enormous amounts of time and energy and resources pointing out the latest crazy thing he said, or you know the how rude or mean some of these Republican candidates.
now it always amazes me that they think that he's the meanest Republican. Every one of these people, I mean, isn't he the great hope for the one who call people that they cling to their guns and religion? So I think when it comes to politics, I mean, people always look, the opponent as the other.
Behaved. That's probably not something
And he's okay.
that,
Go
that
ahead.
in the minds of most voters overrides their basic interests. Can I pay the rent? What are gas prices? How am I dealing with child care?
Well, and so the question is, do people just need to ignore?
Now, these are the same people, John Farrow or whatever his name is, that want Ben Shapiro to be blocked from Facebook. So, I mean, like somebody say, they always argue in bad faith, you know. So, see, whatever they accuse you of, they are doing the same thing from both sides, both side. So let's see.
Ignore him and focus on other issues, or is it possible that
They don't have any winning issue. That's the problem. If you have a winning issue, they will not be focusing on him. The issue is the orange man. Bad. That's been since the orange man was elected.
voters are focusing on everything?
I don't
at
know.
the same time.
I don't, you know, I think Obama's kind of partying and campaigning like it was 2000.
Now, this is Mrs. Ana Navarro, who used to be a Republican. But let's listen to her and see what she says.
2008. He ran against John McCain. He didn't run against a twice impeached insurrection.
You see? What did Obama say? All these people, what? Then the name calling.
And I don't know how you ignore Donald Trump when he's constantly doing things.
Very easy. Ignore him. You ignore Donald Trump by ignoring him, by not making everything a 10. And yes, the guy says some silly things, but the media kind of feeds into it, by just ignoring him. He's not president. He doesn't have any power. Because the more you pay attention to him, that's where his power comes from.
Things like attacking Elaine Chao with anti-Asian hate when he's attacking Jews.
That I have to check, because sometimes people overstate. He might have criticized her, and see, this is part of the problem. They never tell the truth when it comes to Trump. They always overstate and say things that he over exaggerate what he says. So he might criticize Mitch and his wife. That doesn't mean that it's anti-Asia. Because he criticizes everybody. So I think sometimes they just overplay. And I know,
like he did last night, where he
talks,
posted out, U.S. Jews have to get their act together and
see, that's a lie.
appreciate what they have in Israel before it's too late. And this is
Hold on, that's a lie.
coming at a
let
time
finish.
when there's been
And
such
she's
a
gonna
dramatic increase in anti-Asian crimes,
anti-Asian,
anti-Semitic crimes.
Anti-Semitic, okay. She doesn't care about anti-Semitic stuff. She doesn't, because look, what Trump said is kind of stupid, but this is him trying to, give credit that he's the president who did more for Israel. That's it. Praise himself. So what did he say? What did Trump say that was anti-Semitic? And this is, see, the older I get, and before I became a little bit more aware, I used to believe, everything, if it was on TV, if it was on the news. But now, the more I hear things, and the more you look, the more you see sometimes things get over exaggerated or they are not true. So I'll give you this piece of advice. Don't believe me. Don't believe anything that I said. When somebody says somebody said this, that is really, really bad, do your own research. Google it and see. Because if they don't tell you what the person said, because she just overstated Trump anti-Semitic remark, which wasn't. This is just Trump bragging about, about how he was the best president for Jews, because he did more for Israel. But this is maybe what most Republicans don't realize this. And I have some friends who used to ask me, why do Jews vote liberal? And it's pretty easy. Israel is not most Jews, not most Jews, even in some Orthodox Israel is not their number one issue. They just vote some. They just vote like most Americans vote, and some Jews are very social conscious. You know, they care about their neighbor, they care about the environment, they care about. So maybe so they tend to be maybe more liberal. You know, so they vote that way. But she just overstated. You know, the
So
kind of
look,
a Trump
I
hate.
get what Obama's saying. There is a dearth. We are missing the hope and
And she's a Republican. She's a Republican, but she makes money by becoming never trumpet. You know, because ABC would never hire a very staunch Trump supporter. No, they would never do that. Um, and even it was true in the Bush administration. They hired a former Bush, you know, this, um, you know, disgruntled employee who used to just bash Republicans, and I always think about this, right? That you think, oh, this is a business, so most of these executives are going to be, you know, maybe conservative. No, they are in a very elite group, and they all hear, you know, listen to each other, you know. So and even you find out that even people, when they are conservative, by the time they they get hired and stay in, if they live in that environment, the opinions start changing because you start mirroring the people around you.
change feeling that there was in 2008. But it's
Hope and
very
change
hard to
feeling.
not be angry and outraged and channel that
Why is this woman angry? Why is she angry? She should not be angry because she has everything. She has a husband. I mean, why are people angry? If politics is making you angry and you are hating and you hate your neighbor or even you hate the president, please let me give you one advice. Turn off the TV, even turn off this. Start listening to somebody else because some people have different opinion than you do. Try and find out why people disagree with you. It's not because that person is evil. Please, unless you know that person is evil. Now, if you grew up in New York, Trump doesn't surprise you because this is a kind of a New York real estate guy. You know, you get it. You know, they, excuse my language, bull as them. You know, they always trying to sell. 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 So let's listen. Keep listening.
into the ballot
Just
box when
torture.
they've just gotten rid of abortion rights after 50 years.
Well, I think that
She used to be. I mean, that's been on the Republicans to get rid of Roe versus Wade. You know, they didn't get rid of abortion access. It go back to the state. Let's stop, you know, scaring people. Let's stop scaring people. And I think if we do that, things will get better. You and I, if you're listening to me, you and I can start to do that, those things.
So, you know, to his point, people are concerned, and you say this all the time, people are concerned about how they're going to put food on the table, how they're
Now, this is where my partisan comes in. For some reason, Sunny kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I always find out that the black establishment, black elite never represent, but the position that they have, they assume the position because the corporate executive trying to portray that there's a representative. They are representing, a minority group, but they don't. They represent their white friends. They just mirror and say, because there's nothing that she says when it comes to, she was part of the police movement. That if you go to any minority neighborhood, which I'm in, I live in my minority neighborhood, that nobody, or I'm in and out of my minority neighborhood more than she is. She lives in, Westchester, you know, grew up very privileged, you know.
They're going to educate their kids, how they're going to, drive to work with gas prices. I think what we need to shift the discussion to is what are Republicans for? It was very, very easy at one time to
What are Democrats for? We all
to describe what a conservative platform was.
it's still very easy to find out what not paying $5 for gas.
It was limited government and reach, right? Low taxes, strengthening
It's not. Yeah, go ahead.
our national defense, holding firm to traditional moral
Remember, she's doing the quote. It's like you don't believe it.
family values. In 2020, the Republicans didn't even put out an agenda. Their agenda was, we reject the Biden administration. Tell me.
I mean, they just. I haven't. I mean, I know that they just put up. I mean, she works in the news, so if this is a news station, it's not even an entertainment channel. It's a news station, and she's a lawyer. So, I mean, let someone do research for her and give her better information and say yes, the Republicans actually have an agenda, and they actually came up with, I think it's promise, with America or something like that. I saw it. I don't remember the name, but I saw it.
What you
So-
stand for. What is your
She's gonna be very fact check.
agenda? And I think that's the best way for Democrats to show what
Democrats are hiding from their agenda. They have agenda. Everybody has agenda.
they are standing for, because Democrats have had wins, but many
Specific
wins.
to
It's wins, yeah. What's it? Inflation reduction that doesn't reduce inflation. It's just global warming nonsense. If you want to solve global warming, I say the market is gonna solve it. The market and free market, just like people, not the government. Yes, the government just got to get out of the way. Get out of the way, because whatever government does it, they do it worse. But if they get out of the way, private people like Elon Musk, they want money. They will find way to serve people.
the midterms, Trump isn't on the ballot. Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And at the end of the day, people are going to vote their
And she's a weak Republican. She wants to be she wants to be famous. She worked for, this shows that, see, people always say that, Trump didn't have people, who, were this, but the people that he had were, he probably didn't need a communication director, but she was the communication director for Trump, and whenever she opens her mouth, you're like, oh my goodness, in the Bush administration, she would not even get a deputy, job. because she's not
Chris, I
very.
grew up in a family
Right.
where if grocery prices went up the way they did, gas prices, then we're not having poultry, we're not having protein at dinner. We struggle to make ends meet, and that's what tends to motivate voters in an election cycle. I think the difference
She's saying the truth.
is when it's a presidential 2024, you do have to go after everything Trump or whoever it is says. You do have to engage that. But this is really, midterms are traditionally a referendum on the party in power, which is the Democrat.
You see, Disney
And I worry,
used to
I mean,
hire a
You
Republican.
don't mind that there is no Republican agenda at this.
Republicans have an agenda. Do some common. I mean, can you guys tweet at her the Republicans' agenda, because she's not very bright.
Point.
There is with some, but to be
And
honest,
she
I'm not
lies a
happy
lot.
with where the mainstream of the party is for what the agenda is going forward. We do need to be a party of what we're for, not just what we're against, and we've fallen into that lane too much.
You see, because she's not very bright, and she's a communication, this thing, she takes the bait off this leftist woman who says Republicans don't have an agenda, which is not true. They do have an agenda. It's not a Democrat agenda. It's not paying $20 for gas. That's the Republican agenda. Just say that. It's not that hard.
Well, the other thing here about chiming in every time Trump does something is we become numb to him. I'm someone who's become numb to him. And I think
This is a white woman problem. You know, she wants to appease and make everybody feels okay. And for, you know.
the point is you can no longer tell how serious the crime he commits is, verbally or otherwise, if we talk about him every day. And I do think the media played a part in it was more like fun, as Chris Wallace said.
Yep. Because everything, look, Joe Biden says some crazy things that the media doesn't talk about. Making racist comment about a black reporter about cocaine issue. I mean, if Trump said half of those things, oh my goodness. But Joe will be Joe.
It was more interesting
Yeah.
to do headlines on Trump
he
with everything
buried
he
his
put out there than it
ex-wife on
was
a golf
with-
course.
Yeah.
I could be dead.
Oh, come on. Are we talking about where his wife is buried?
And I still wouldn't be numb to him.
Well, we were talking about what President Obama.
Because Anna Vera is it's not going to be numb to it because Trump has made her rich. I mean, look, these people outrage, all the rage, especially her. I mean, she has become famous because, I mean, the media find, way that Trump make money for them, so they were going to use anti-Republicans to, to make money. And I mean, she's everywhere. She was everywhere, right? She became a hero, Samantha Bee, So then she kind of, went, she took the mantle. I mean, she's, became a full left communist.
Was talking about on John Favreau's podcast. And so, is it time to stop talking about the past since he isn't running?
No, you don't, but you have to put everything in context. You have to do that. I want to forward this a little bit and then see.
Now people are saying, well, that's not good enough. That
You
may
see,
not, wait, let me finish my posing
go
to
ahead,
y'all.
I'm sorry.
That might
Okay.
not be good enough that you fix.
Because, let's see, because Anna Rivera, let me just see her faces here. Yeah, let's see what she's gonna say. because she makes.
Disagree that Trump is not on the ballot because Herschel Walker is on the ballot because Trump endorsed him. Mehmet Oz is on the ballot because Trump endorsed him.
Oh, Lord.
J.D. Vance is on the ballot because Trump endorsed him.
'Cause they are
Carrie Lake is
Republicans.
on the ballot because Trump endorsed it. So let me tell you something. Donald Trump is on the ballot.
Yeah.
And as long as he's tweeting out anti-Semitic,
Again, it's a lie. It's a lie. She's repeating the lie again, But nobody's gonna check her, all these people. Yes, Trump is going to endorse these people because they are Republicans, and Trump. So every Republican that is running, at least is going to seek endorsement from, just like when Bush was popular. People suck, endorsement from Bush, especially if you win your primary already. Just like Obama is endorsing every Democrat. It's
anti-this, anti-that, and hateful rhetoric, to me,
What's
those
the
are his
hate?
agents. To me, those are his proxies. And they are on the ballot, and I don't want them in the Senate. I don't want them in Congress. And so, I get what Obama
You see, she gets what Obama. No, she makes money out of this.
was saying. And I do
rich.
think he has a point, and that
Yeah.
Democrats need to tout more the things they've actually done.
What Democrats have done, they are run away from it.
Today, the Biden White House just announced hearing aids are going to be available over the counter.
Finally.
That
That's very
means
good.
millions
That's good. Most people get it.
of people are going to save thousands of dollars. Well, did you all know that?
That's the thing. I think, and that's what I was trying to say.
See, it would be nice if she think a little bit for herself than just go with the
Last
party.
segment. We know
thought.
there's no Republican agenda.
Because she's
they said
supposed
it
to
in
be the young
2020
Republicans of
convention.
agenda.
We don't have one to give you. Sorry. And then you've got a list of accomplishments of this administration that's only 2
Wow, she has a paper.
years old. Every single congressional candidate, every single senatorial candidate should say, this is what we have done.
So here's
They don't do it, though.
here's my question then. Is this because the media isn't focused on the accomplishments? Is it that it's more exciting, like it said, not
The media, the whole Democrats will never win anything if it wasn't for the media, because I've always said, before even I became politically aware, that Republicans have great ideas, but they suck up at explaining it. Democrats have bad ideas, but somehow they make it look good, and the more, it's like, because they have the media. Every journalist is a left wing, I remember long time ago I was reading Ari Fleischer book. He was the first George Bush press secretary, and he was talking about, he was a congressional press secretary, and he had some people coming, students who came from, I think, New York University or Columbia University. This is a long time ago that I read the book. It was his biography. It was a long time ago. So when they came, he asked, I think they were like four people or five people, and he asked them, so how many of you are Democrats? And I think the students, like three of them, raise up their hand. So I think let me say there were four people. So he said, oh, okay, so there's only one Republican. And the guy said, what? I'm not a Republican. I'm a Green Party. That's how crazy the media is, But in most part of the world, I mean, it's not like that. It's not, you know.
Good for the country, but great for us. Where is the disconnect? Because you would think
Dem-
people would be touting the fact that you could go get a hearing aid. That's a big deal, but it doesn't
Not
seem to
everybody
come
needs
through.
a
Because people
hearing
aren't
aid.
feeling it. It's the pocketbook issues at the end of the day that are what motivate midterm voters.
Can I ask you a
Yeah.
quick question? These are the
Yes.
same issues that we had when you know who was in.
But inflation's
Was it-
at like a 50-year
hello,
high right now.
hello.
See who it is.
Who is?
you know that was I mean Upi, sometimes I love Upi, but I mean, come on. When Trump was, we were talking about his tweet. I mean, gas was $2. I mean, is she joking or is she high? See, rich people don't know anything. They don't know what they are talking about. All right, get. I mean,
You
get.
know I can't read.
Get your
Gabriel
phone.
Austin.
That's,
know.
that's
Inflation's at
Ask Gabriel how
right
his
now.
pocketbook is.
Yeah.
Get your
Well,
phone.
everybody's pocketbook has been crazed, even when you know who gave us the sugar, even when they gave us the
The money,
the,
the
the-
COVID relief.
Yeah.
no,
the
prescription
$1,500.
drugs?
the
All right.
tax relief. Remember the
tax
tax
relief.
relief
Yep.
that was
Yeah.
supposed to hit everybody?
That-
Nobody got tax relief.
Okay, that's what she's gonna talk about. Everybody got a tax relief. Everybody did. Now, I'm gonna let her finish so that I explain to you what happened. Why some people thought that they did not get a tax relief. The people who did not get tax relief are actually very, very rich people. And I was explaining
Except
it.
folks up here.
Well,
So
that's
people have been hungry and
Because Upi is so rich that she has no idea what she's talking about. So, if
wanting the money to buy the food and do all this for months. So now we're back to square one and we'll be talking about it some more.
So this is what happened during the Trump tax relief. Now, if you live in the states like New York and California, Connecticut, where you're rich, you pay a lot of taxes. You didn't get any more deductions, right? So all these rich people who are paying a lot of states and local taxes, especially if you live in New York City, you know, it it did affected them very well. It did affected them. It did affected them, to be honest, you know. So I kind of understand, maybe that's why she felt like she didn't get a tax relief. But if you were a working middle class or even upper, you did get it. But this is what happened. See, Steve Bannon, who, see, in politics, everything is sometimes. But Steve Bannon decided that they would, who was this? I think it was, was it Thomas? I think he was an advisor. He was economic advisor, something Cohen, Stevie Cohen or something like that. Yeah. They decided that they wanted to. People should start getting the tax cut right away, so people start getting it right on their paycheck. So every week, instead of maybe the $70 taken out of your account, it wasn't coming out of your account. Now, if you are living, and people didn't see it that way. They didn't see it. Where not what would have happened most of the time when they do tax cut is at the end of the year when you file it, you get this boom, this check. Then you're like, ooh, thank you, Obama. Thank you, Bush. Trump never got a thank you. Why? Because people didn't see it. Even though they spend it, right? So if they would have, waited and let it, take effect, when people file their income tax, that then people would have seen. So that's why people didn't think that they get a tax relief. All right, we're done with this video. If you have any more stuff you want me to review, entertain, I'll be happy to do this. Again, it'd be nice if you go like the video, subscribe, and support. It's a new channel. My goal is to make every video a little bit better quality, better information, better entertaining, and better. All right. All right. Ciao. Bye.